What's up, this your boy Gerald with the NCB. I wanted to come up here and address some things and just clarify some stuff for the people in the back or the Karens, and kind of just clarify some stuff that people probably missed when she was talking. Now, this right here is Aviance Brown. She says she's an attorney in the state of North Carolina, and according to court records, she was the attorney the day that Ms. Gwendolyn White was accused of shooting two attorneys who were representing the Roseville Police Department.
I am attorney Aviance Brown, and I represented Gwendolyn White, the alleged shooter from the shooting that took place at the Wake County Courthouse on Friday morning.
Let me make this very clear. Aviance, out of her own mouth, said that she came into this case in April of this year, 2026.
I represented her in her request for body-worn camera footage from the Roseville Police Department. I am a business and civil litigation attorney and a civil rights professor that has dedicated my career to advocating for intentionally excluded communities, both in and outside of the courtroom. I am a trained movement lawyer that has litigated several cases aimed at holding state actors responsible for harming my community. My case record spans from lawsuits against the state of North Carolina for racist gerrymandering to suing school boards for discrimination against children with disabilities. It also includes holding law enforcement responsible when they harm the community. With regard to Gwendolyn White's case against the Roseville Police Department for the release of body-worn camera footage, the pleadings show that in 2021, there was a dispute between Ms. White and her next-door neighbor that resulted in law enforcement being called. Over a year later, a petition for the release of the body-worn camera footage from this incident from the officers that arrived on the scene that night was filed by Ms. White in February of 2022. The first court order for the release of the footage was entered on February 8, 2022. The police department responded by filing a copy of their retention policy, which detailed how footage is stored and secured and when it is appropriate to be released. That policy detailed that unless footage is classified as evidence, it is deleted from their system within 30 days. The law enforcement agency claimed that in accordance with their 30-day retention policy, because the requested footage had not been classified as evidence, it had already been deleted on or about April 3rd, 2021. Additionally, their filings detailed additional steps taken in coordination with an external technology company to try to retrieve the previously deleted footage. On February 24th, 2022, a second order was entered which mandated the release of any footage that could be retrieved. The court records further indicate that the attorney for the police department provided a copy of the footage that was able to be recovered to the court in 2022 and sought guidance from the court regarding reproduction to Ms. White in accordance with the language in the North Carolina statute. On August 14th, 2025, a notice of hearing was filed by Ms. White for a hearing that was held on January 12th, 2026. At that January 12th hearing, police attorneys provided a flash drive that allegedly contained the video footage to Ms. White. Ms. White claimed that the flash drive did not contain the footage, and she notified the police attorney that the flash drive was empty. On January 15, 2026, the recovered body-worn camera footage was provided to Ms. White via a web link from the police attorneys. On January 16, 2026, Ms. White filed a motion for reconsideration to obtain a new trial. In April of this year, my office was contacted by a local organization to provide legal support to Ms. White.
We're in May, and she came in after an organization reached out to her to represent Ms. Gwendolyn, and she represented Ms. Gwendolyn pro bono.
I am not a court-appointed lawyer. I am a private attorney who decided to take her case pro bono out of sincere concern and desire to help based on the allegations within the pleadings.
She was not there in 2019 when the retired Gwendolyn White, who had high-level security clearance and worked for the federal government.
I used to be a senior HIPAA compliance specialist. I was a senior HIPAA, IT, and anti-money laundering and fraud criminologist and forensic specialist number 3. For the state of North Carolina, I was a level 96. For the federal government Office of Chief Technology, I was a GS 16. I revised their regulations, their guidelines, their directives, their rules. I'm going to tell you what an officer in Wake County said to me just 2 days ago. You know what's so interesting, Ms. White? You did PHI for all these years, writing up these laws and regulations to protect everybody else, and your own medical records got hacked at Duke. You know what I told him? I don't have no control over Duke. I only have control over who I am as an individual. I can't control who Duke allows to go in and change my medical records that are not diagnoses. Like I told Dr. Finu, I said, Dr. Finu, you're not allowed to go in court and talk about my PHI or my mother's or my family or anything that I discussed with you. She came in court and she sat there. When the judge asked her a question, she can give her name. She can tell where she lived at. But she had no business telling my personal information to the DA or anybody else except my attorney. And she could not talk to anybody else. And her and I had this discussion. She said, Miss White, I actually got to get you to sign this non-disclosure agreement before we go into court. I said, I'm not signing it because I don't.
Moved into her home in the Carlton Point area beside the alleged KKK Grand Wizard. She was not there in 2020. She was not there during the original March 2021 incident. And she was not there during the early hearings and litigations before Aviance was even thought about. Miss White had already for years been in court fighting the Roseville Police Department, trying to get body camera footage that was ordered to be allegedly deleted by the chief. And she was not there when the judge, Rosier, entered a contempt order against the Roseville Police Department. He did admit that the police department, under their policy, body camera footage was deleted.
I conducted a thorough investigation into the claims being made. The case records revealed a record-keeping log from the police department that showed that the body-worn camera footage had been deleted by the department in 2021 in accordance with their retention policy. But upon receiving the court order for release, technological efforts were made with an external team to retrieve whatever footage could be salvaged.
If you've looked through the court documents, and if you have not looked through the court documents, let me say this. According to court documents that the North Carolina Bee and other independent journalists poured over, it shows that whoever Roseville PD hired to recover the videos, they were still looking and searching for the videos after the videos were already deleted, according to the department's retention policy. Why y'all still searching for videos if they were supposed to be deleted at this time frame?
I received the recovered body-worn camera footage from the police attorneys on May 7, 2026. In accordance with the professional rules of conduct, which allow attorneys to be released from a case upon court approval in instances such as imprudent actions contrary to a lawyer's advice, I filed a motion to withdraw as counsel on May 15th.
And mind you, parts of the video from another officer's body camera was recovered and given to Ms. White on a blank flash drive. And then after the flash drive was blank, basically admitted it was blank by sending her the files electronically. But they weren't able to recover Apaka's officer who the alleged KKK wizard wife, Michelle Larshide, told to shoot Ms. White in the head. They couldn't find that video, though. That video been deleted, though.
On the day of the shooting, I appeared in court and argued my motion to withdraw pursuant to several permitted bases under the rules.
Ms. White also said that the wife was on body camera footage, admitting that her husband was breaking in the house, harassing them, doing all this type of stuff to them. Why would they keep those videos? Because it would incriminate them. And why would they turn over something that does not incriminate them? Because it does not incriminate them. And like Ms. White said in her filings, if you can recover one, why can't you recover all? Because y'all don't want to recover the incriminating ones. That's why they violated the judge's order. I mean, it's so corrupt.
The judge granted my request, permitting me to terminate my legal services, at which time I exited the courtroom, while Ms. White and opposing counsel remained to be heard on her motion for reconsideration.
Stop coming out with these chat GPT statements and y'all ain't really like trying to help people. You're making yourself look bad and you're making people not want to hire you as a lawyer, girl. I'm telling you right now, your career is going to go flop.
I want to acknowledge that we live in a nation where the truth is constantly being distorted. The internet is a vile place that is not meant for thoughtful nor truthful engagement because social media apps are not built to reward truth. They reward narratives that can be sensationalized. I understand that no matter what I say, there are some that will continue to be motivated by a desire to go viral rather than hearing the truth.
We need all the videos from everybody that was on scene, from all the calls.
Nonetheless, I am guided by my moral compass and must speak the truth.
We need all the videos from everybody that was on scene, from all the calls.
What I want to make abundantly clear is that the only outcome available through the legal mechanism used was the release of the footage.
And what court filings do show is this. There were disputes over deleted footage, missing footage, blank flash drive, whether the Roseville Police Department fully complied with court orders. But it seems like Aviance wanted to distance herself from that. Maybe she don't want to be harassed by the KKK. I don't know.
The department released the footage that was able to be recovered. This case was solely about the release of body-worn camera footage. There is no factual evidence that links alleged claims of negligent health care to the release of that footage.
And I feel like when the KKK wizard is breaking in your house and putting poison in the same stuff that you have to feed your parent who you're taking care of, stuff do leads to health issues. And I felt like one thing led to another. So this just ain't about a March 2021 incident. This stuff been going on. What Miss White went through is unbearable. All of this do tie into everything from 2019 to the body camera to her mom. Because mind you, it's about the KKK wizard living beside her and them breaking in the house, poisoning their food and stuff, which led to her mom having health problems, which led to her getting poisoned with arsenic, which led to her them going to the hospital, which led to the state taking her mom. It's one thing after another. I can respect a lawyer who was there from the beginning, but a lawyer who just came in last month, girl, go eat a bagel. Like, why are y'all trying to paint her constitutional rights as something negative?
These two issues have been falsely conflated in a manner that has distorted the factual record. I want to express my sincerest condolences to attorneys Mary Harris and Jeffrey Whitley and their families.
They're trying to make it, oh, she filed these lawsuits, she's crazy. That don't mean you crazy. People have a right to appeal their cases.
I am deeply disgusted by the online rhetoric that two attorneys who were merely doing their job deserved any form of violence. I know firsthand that attorneys do not have an easy job and are often blamed for the fact that our legal system is not built nor equipped to heal the harms that many people have faced.
All of these black men and women, or it's mostly black men who have been wrongfully convicted by the system. I'm sure that day in court, y'all thought y'all was right? But years later, people who have fought for their freedom, come to find out, y'all set them up, you hid evidence. They've been hiding evidence from black people. This ain't new.
I also want to acknowledge the outcry for equitable mental health services and support. It is no secret that we lack the appropriate mental health infrastructure in this country to address the needs of so many aggrieved individuals, and we absolutely must do better.
And I also want y'all to take note that she never said that Ms. White was lying. She never said that Ms. White made everything up. And she never diagnosed Miss White with mental illness, but I felt like she was trying to say this is mental health. But it's like, did you say something about this being mental health when you first got on the case, or you just now speaking out now because you come in on the tail end after all of the hardships and all of the stuff that she's been through and 2 attorneys allegedly get shot? I mean, I'm just trying to understand.
Despite this tragedy, I remain committed to fighting for the equity and the liberation of intentionally excluded communities, and I am praying for all parties involved.
If you're found guilty of something and it's not a plea deal, you have the right to appeal. If you're in a civil matter and you feel like something was erred or the judge did not listen to evidence, you have the right to appeal it. So stop trying to use her constitutional rights as evidence that something might be wrong with her. No, something is wrong with you bitches, because obviously y'all don't know that she has constitutional rights.